explain to the flying public, all these are safety nets that are put in place. Even diverting to another airport, we call it alternate airport to our destination. And this is done to make sure flights are done safely. And there are other things that are in place. You heard us the other day talking about making our airspace area radar surveillance compliant. They all look very technical, but the summary of it all is a seamless airspace, a more robust, safety-conscious airspace, where an air traffic controller sits down in Lagos and clears aeroplanes around the country, and Kano, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, having one robust observation that ensures that the man gets to his destination. And at every point in time, he stays in visual contact and voice contact with the air traffic controllers. These are not magics. These are conscious, deliberate efforts that have been put in place by NAMA, FCA, and in fact, all other agencies in the industry.
Let me take you back a little bit. You said something about the pilot going to collect and that now it is mandatory. Does it mean that if the pilot does not come to collect, it will not be given to him? Is it not something that should be given to him and then ensure that he's followed through?
Yeah, you might like to know the word collect is generic. The flight dispatcher could collect such meteorological report. But we insist on a brief. The pilot must get that folder and will be adequately briefed. We would expect every pilot to make contact with the AIS officer, with the Nigerian meteorological scientist, and gets briefed, ask questions, look at all the alternate routes to his destination. However, every airline has a licensed flight dispatcher whose responsibility it is to brief the pilot. But of course, for most international airlines and of course ad hoc operators, at destination they go to fly their flight plan. But let me give you a scenario. For ARIC or maybe Aero or Dana that has numerous flights in a day, they did prior day flight planning procedures. They submit all their flight plans for today, yesterday. So the pilot now arrives at the airport, goes to the airline briefing room, and there he receives this brief. And it's interesting that even me, in my position, I receive online real-time information as being sent out by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. So pilots also subscribe to this information, and they get it. And on arrival, that's why pilots arrive 1 hour or 2, depending on the airline operational procedure, to their flight. And this is when they get this brief adequately, so that the man can plan his routes and plan the flight.
Okay, that's about the weather. What about the area of the machines, the aeroplanes themselves? I mean, in terms of maintenance, you get maintenance reports of these planes before they take off and as they land. How often do these reports come in? Or do you get them real time as you get the weather reports too?
I will also, because I lost you towards the end of your comment, but I will also especially talking about the machine. The ultimate in this is the machine. But the areas we think has been areas of human factor are the soft ends with most organizations, the attitudes, the behaviors, the character of the people. But of course, in this respect, the machine is the ultimate. The aeroplane is the ultimate. Definitely, yes. Last night, you must have heard also our senior colleague talk about the latest technology where from the flight management system, a regulatory authority, the airline, will receive flight profile, performance of the engine, processes on the aeroplane, real time as the aeroplane is in operation. So on landing, the airline will be able to know the status of the machine. Yes, that is possible. That is being done, and that is being monitored by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. And that's why we've been hearing about regulatory framework regulatory strengthening, and of course, employment of qualified aeronautical engineers who are going through a process of training, preparing them for this robust task of making our airspace sustained as a safe environment. Yes, what you have said is correct. The machine is involved, and not even just the aeroplane alone, even other navigational aids and radar systems and communication that is involved. Even the security equipment at the airport is being strengthened to ensure a seamless civilization environment is created for safe operation of Nigerian users and airspace travelers.
Well, let's talk a little further about these internal regulatory mechanisms of airlines, which, of course, you refer to as the operational audit. I mean, speaking with some pilots, they raise some concerns. I mean, it may look little, but they ultimately end up, as you say, the soft end, the human factor that comes in that can cause some of these crashes to occur. They also say, I mean, sometimes we see this, airlines rescheduling their flight via SMS. You talk about the flight plan which some of them submit the day before. Who checks this? How can they reschedule flights via SMS and this happens? And who checks and ensure that this is not standard procedure?
Okay, I lost you also towards the end, but I want to believe you are talking about who monitors the rescheduling, passenger comfort, and all that. There is a directorate in the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority called Passenger Protection Unit. And even in NAMA, we also have a Servicom Protection Department, where pilot also will have a feedback to NAMA on the services that we'll give. Yes, SMS is a medium of communication. It is for the information of the passengers to be aware that due operational reasons or technical reasons, these flights are being rescheduled. There are, of course, other internal mechanisms by the airline for which this is equally conveyed to NCAA that, oh, this flight cannot go, etc., etc. And the passenger bill of rights, which was equally unveiled, in fact, it was unveiled under the leadership of Dr. Demuren, I think sometime last year, where if your flight is delayed for 3 hours, you are entitled to some compensation. If it's an outright cancellation, of course, for no just reason, there will be some kind of compensation. So, like I said, all this is a process in a chain that we have to be dealing with link by link. So, you recognize the awareness, the robust nature, and that is a benefit that has come out of this event 1 year after Dana crash. So I will expect that feedbacks, like you have said, and from passengers will continue to build on the gain that the blood of these Nigerians is not covered by sand, like you will see in other places in the world.
Well, a very quick one here. Perhaps this complaint is something that you should also be able to comment on. The frequency with which air passengers are held up in the sky, all in the name of VIP, is so rampant in our airspace. Are you looking into that?
Well, Suleiman, I heard you last when you said, am I looking into that? I am not looking into that. I have looked into it. It's been solved. If you fly now, or you get any report of any passenger who said he is being delayed arbitrarily for more than 5-10 minutes for a reason of VIP movement, please, I would like to receive such reports. I'd like to know the airport. I'd like to know what happened, because even 001, our presidential movement, does not attract any significant delay on our operations. We have various ways in which we manage our airspace. Like we said, is a robust airspace. So VIP movement, as it were, cannot be any recognizable source of delay. And it is only for the 001 aeroplane that receives some sterilization, just few minutes for necessary, recognizable, ICAO documented security measures on our airspace, like an emergency flight. any aeroplane carrying a sick